Hello. Neither one of us were
Hello.
looking up.
I'm jumping in the Discord channel, Discord chat.
It feels like it's been so long. It's been what,
It
a month since
does.
we recorded, right? It's
It
a
has
whole
been. It's been.
month.
Well, I don't know. I actually don't know, but it feels like it has been a long time. I agree with that.
Yeah, it was June 13th. I think it's been exactly 1 month since we
Wow,
last
look at you.
recorded
You
live.
know. Oh my
Only because
gosh.
only because it's the exact same day. That's the only reason
Oh, okay.
I
That's fair.
remember.
That's fair. That's fair.
Oh, but man, it feels good to be back. We're going to be
Oh,
recording our
quick time.
first episode. Oh, yes, that's right. We're going to be recording our first official This Is Awkward episode back from our summer break. So if you're someone who, I guess, is new to the podcast, just happen to be catching it, we take a summer break. Allison wants to travel the world. Stay at home. And
Hey,
basically,
you did some traveling too.
I did a little bit of traveling. But we use this time to take a break. Like, it's our podcast. We can choose to take a break if we want to. So that's what we do. And we've been doing some special Patreon episodes over the break. But now we're officially back to recording the real This Is Awkward. I was going to say the
real
nitty
stuff.
gritty, but that sounds like more dramatic than
That sounds kind of
what it is that
boring.
we're doing.
Like depressing.
They're getting into the nitty gritty of it. But yeah. Oh,
Okay,
before
you
we
ready
get
to
started,
clap?
we should clap. We'll do that first.
Let's clap.
Oh, well, hold on. That's
I'm
why I
always
was like,
nervous that we're gonna forget to clap.
and then I'll have to go through and figure out or tell Steve, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Steve. It was my fault.
Hi, Scargy Mama.
All right. Okay. I got that. I hit record. Let's do it. 3, 2, 1, clap. Got it.
Yay! Let's do this. I'm
Ooh.
excited.
Oh, before we hop into this, I just got to ask you. I know you've jumped on the Threads train, haven't you? Are you
have.
are you threading like crazy?
No, I'm not threading like crazy. I'm not consuming it like crazy either.
Were you on the
No.
high that everyone else was? Like that first day, everyone's on there. I'll never
Yes.
sleep. I'm gonna thread forever.
That was me. I like could not. I was laying in bed at like 12:30 like, "Oh, let me just,
Just a little bit
But-
longer.
yeah, but I mean it's starting to get just like a
It's Twitter. It's
yeah.
it's the same thing. If you're not into Twitter, then you probably won't be into this. But I will say it's a little. I never use Twitter often. It's a little less
Oh, I don't use
depressing
Twitter ever.
than going on Twitter is. But I'm sure it's only a matter of time. We'll see what happens.
I guess my thing is like I can't find people on there yet. Like I can't like I
Oh, because
think
everyone
I-
hasn't moved over yet, right?
Well, that and like, I don't know. All I know is that I got on it and I got on it like pretty much when I thought you could, like, or a little bit early. I saw someone talking about it. I was like, oh, it's open. I downloaded the app and I'm like 4,700,000, something like that user. Like you have your
Yeah.
number on Instagram. And when my son got back from summer camp, I said something about Threads. He said, you're on Threads. Because he like watched a YouTube video about it. I was like, yeah. And he was like, what number are you? And I told him, he was like, I'm so impressed. I was like, really? And he was like, you're in the first 5 million? Like, Mom, that's so cool. I was like, oh, thank you. Like,
He doesn't know
I
what
am the coolest mom.
he doesn't know you're a social media big deal already. Like this is nothing. This
No,
is
I
not
mean,
new to
like,
me.
he knows. I guess he knows, but he was like, how did you find out about it? What were you doing when you downloaded the app? I mean, and he can't have social media, so I don't
He's
like.
living through you.
He's living vicariously through me, yes. But I was like, hey, if this is what it takes to impress you, I'll do it. Like, that sounds good to me. He's like, what are you writing about? I'm like, cold plunge pools, like nothing exciting.
It's hilarious. Does he not ask you these questions about your massive Instagram following that you already have?
No, he could care less.
That's
He
that.
doesn't.
I don't know any kids because everyone in my family's old. I had no idea that kids thought Threads was impressive. That's like a thing for them. Like, oh, you're on Threads. You're high up
Yeah.
there.
He like was so impressed. Like, and he even said it like later on. He was like, I just can't believe you're in the first 5 million. I was like, you know me, like I'm cool like that, So I told him. So anyway,
Oh man. Okay, so you ready
ready
to
to
hop
get
into
started?
this?
yeah, let's do it.
All right,
Do
you're
you have your
taking it
buttons
away.
ready?
I do. I haven't pushed any of this stuff over here in a while, so hopefully all
We'll
this
see
stuff
how it
works
goes.
and nothing
Here we
blows
go.
up on me. All right.
Okay.
You're taking it away, so go ahead. I'll put you
Here we go.
right in front.
we moved to our new city, new to us city in 2019. And one of my biggest concerns was how I was going to make friends, especially since I started working from home. I didn't have like a formal workplace. And I thought, how am I going to make friends? To the point where I talked about it with my therapist. So, fast forward after a couple of months of us living here, maybe about 6 to 8 months, I find a friend that I think is really cool. I think she's awesome. She's my neighbor. Our kids are playing together. And I put myself out there after hanging out with her just on the fly a couple of times. I put myself out there and I was like, okay, this is it. This is going to be my friend. This is my first mom friend after moving her. And I texted her and I was like, hey, it was cool hanging out at the park the other day. Why don't we go get like a glass of wine somewhere or do something like that? And her response was,
no.
oh, I'm just so busy. Maybe we can do that in like 10 to 11 weeks. Hey, this is Allison.
And this is Chris, and you're listening to This Is Awkward. And who is this lady? Are you trying to be friends with the vice president or something? Like, I thought you were going to say, like, days, weeks. You said 10 to 11 weeks?
Weeks. So I legit did not know what to say back. I was like, okay, yeah, like, sure. She's like, I'm just so busy, like, maybe in 10 to 11 weeks. And I'm like, gosh, like, I put my heart out there. You know, it's like, is this how hard it is to make friends? Like, it's not easy. And then COVID hit. And she had all this time. She was a teacher. And her thought was, let me just get through the school year. And then we ended up being really good friends. And I like,
Okay.
I mean, we've gone on vacation together. We've gone camping together. And like months later, we were sitting around with our husbands and we were talking, we were telling stories. And I told this story and she was like, I never said that. And I was like, watch. And I pulled it up on my text message and we all started laughing. She was like, I didn't mean to like be rude. Matt was like, Allison didn't know how to take that. Like, that's so like,
I mean, what would you
response?
If like, I don't know what I'm gonna be doing like 10 days, not even 10 like 10 weeks would be crazy. 10 months, there's no way I could be like, oh yeah, for sure I'm gonna be free. That 100% sounds like somebody blowing you off. They're like, oh yeah, like roughly a year from now it'd be a great time.
Well, she said weeks. She said
oh, the weeks. Okay, never mind.
Regardless, that's like 3 months away. And so it did feel like it very much felt like I got up this courage to do something, to reach out, to try to find a friend. And it was just met with like, no, I'm just going to ghost you for a while. Like, that's how it felt. It was not the intention, but it was really awkward. And I didn't know what to say back to that. I think in the text message, I was like, oh, okay. Haha. Like, talk later. Like, I don't know.
I don't know what I would have said, because that definitely feels like that feels like one of those times where someone says that and you're like, oh yeah, sounds great, and you just never hear from that person again.
Exactly.
So I am shocked that turned out positive. So look at that. For once, an awkward story with a positive ending on it.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's what we hope for here on This Is Awkward, where we not only share our own random awkwardness that we experience, Allison more often than me, but we experience throughout the year. We talk about your awkward money situations that we hope have a positive outcome like Allison's. And we just want you to keep your friends and family along the way.
Or make more friends.
Or make more friends.
Make more friends in the process. And if you want to join us on This Is Awkward, you can call in just like our caller today. Our caller called 707-200-8259. She left a message and we are going to be sharing that message today and be responding to it. Or if you're like, ooh, talking really isn't my thing, you go to awkwardpodcast.com. That's where you could actually leave us a handwritten message and we'll read it out loud.
Yeah, we love those because we know sometimes you don't feel comfortable talking on the phone. Like, we get it. No, like, nobody really talks anymore. I have one friend, I'm going to call him out, Albert. He calls me. I'm like, what are you even calling me? I was like, it's so weird and jarring getting a phone call. Now I'm like, oh, I'm
gonna start calling you randomly, but okay.
Oh, but before we even get into our awkward story today, which by the way, it's about imposter syndrome, and we had someone, they called in and they said basically they've been fighting for some extra benefits, they got them, but now they feel like they don't deserve them. And how do you navigate that feeling of like, I originally thought I should get this, but now I'm really doubting if I'm worthy of getting this stuff that's part of my job that I go and work for every day. But we want to tell you, like, we're back now from our break. We took our nice long, 2-month break off from the podcast for the summer.
Yeah.
And we were thinking, like, you know what? We've been rolling around some ideas of ways we could change the show and maybe improve it, make it a little bit tighter, make it snappier, add some new stuff to it. So today in this episode, you're going to get our kind of tweaks to the show. So we're taking some stuff away, we're adding some stuff in, and you'll kind of see as we go along, and you can kind of let us know what you think. If you're like, no, I like it the old way, or you know what, I like this. This is a better version. Let us know, because you gotta mix things up every now and then.
Yes. And if you're like, hey, I like it, but I want more of it, then you can join us over on Patreon. Starting at just $3 a month, you'll get no ads, fewer ads. We have a private Discord community where we can chat in between episodes, and you get two extra bonus episodes every single month that drop into your own private feed. It kind of reminds me of, like, do you remember, have you ever been to a speakeasy?
I didn't know what you were going to say there, but I don't think I've ever been to a speakeasy. Like, you have like a password to get in there, like that, like legit.
Or like a secret door. There was a speakeasy in the town we used to live in. I mean, it was known about, but you go into this secret door and you get all of this like kind of new experience. That's what our Patreon is kind of like. It's like a speakeasy for your ears. Anyway, you can learn more about our Patreon by going to patreon.com/thisisawkwardpodcast. You can get started. And I think they even have a 7-day free trial. So if you're like, hey, I don't really want to commit, sign up for 7 days. And if you hate it, that's fine. You get to realize that and cancel. And if you like it, you can join us for a long run, just like some of our other Patreon members have done.
Exactly. Thanks for reminding me about that. Yeah, because if you can go in there, you can listen to our whole back catalog. We got like dozens of episodes in there at this point. And before we hop into the break, I just got to say, your illustration, your little scenario of a speakeasy, all I could picture was that episode of The Simpsons where Homer was a bootlegger and he was putting the alcohol in bowling balls, and he would go to the bowling alley, purposely bowl gutters, and the gutter would lead to Moe's Tavern, like underground, and then he would serve his alcohol out of bowling balls to people. That's what I thought of where you were going. Like, that's what in Texas that you're wandering into it, but no.
Totally not where I was going, but
whatever.
Other than that, we are going to jump into a quick break, and then we'll be back to talk about or hear from our caller.
Yeah. Well, still don't have an animation. I was going to make one today, but there's not one. Sorry. So this is the break.
This is a break. Okay.
You've never seen that episode of The Simpsons?
I watched The Simpsons, but it was more like I watched The Simpsons kind of like not fully paying attention.
What were you doing?
As someone with ADHD, I can't just sit and watch a show. I can't just sit and watch a movie. I have to be doing something. So I don't ever like soak things in very well, but regardless.
Okay. Understandable. Go back and watch it. It's on Disney Plus now. You can watch all The Simpsons.
I mean, I think I'm okay, but I will say that you and I are going to Denver in August, and I'm going to look up a speakeasy for us to go to while we're there.
Yes. I don't know if there's any other podcasters who listen to this podcast, but we're going to podcast movement in Denver. And I really hope it is not hot, because it is so hot out here right now. And Denver gets pretty hot too. So I hope it cools down by then. Probably not.
Well, today it felt like 115 outside. So anything's better than where I am. So okay, you ready?
Yes, I'm bringing it up because I forgot to add the video into our lineup here. So I'm throwing it in right now. Give me one quick second. If everyone sees this, if you hear a video play, just ignore it, because it's not what's going to be in there ultimately. I'm just going here and trash that old video. Let's see. Oh, wait, I'm bringing it up. Call.
Hi, Chris.
Right,
Hi,
ignore
Allison. This is I guess an awkward money story.
Let me pause that one. And I'm going to replace it with this one here. Hopefully.
You can do it. I believe in you.
Do you believe in me?
I do.
All right.
So my
there we
story
go.
is...
Got it.
Okay, bring us back, Chris.
So I'm going to put this here. I'm going to do one more quick test. Make sure.
My story...
It works. Whew, okay. Sometimes I'm doing stuff on the fly, Allison, and I just hope that it works out. I never truly know if it's going to work.
That's okay.
All right. All right, so we're back from the break. Let's get into today's awkward story, which is a treat because we actually get a call. I always love when people call in. So again, if you want to call in, 707-200-8259, and we'll add your voice to the show. But let's hop into it. This is an anonymous call from someone who didn't leave their name.
So
Those are my
my
favorite.
story is that I am a physician assistant, but it's in a highly specialized field. And recently I just advocated for us to get access to like the physician's lounge. And I ran into a situation. So at my hospital, the doctors have a lounge that they can go to where they have like food and drinks and all that they can grab from. And they can also go to the cafeteria and get food from there, and go to the cafe and get coffee and like snacks and stuff like that. And I feel weird, like even though I have these benefits now, I just feel weird going to the cafe and going to the cafeteria and getting like food for free, basically. I feel like an imposter. And I also feel like the checkout ladies kind of look at me like, why are you getting food? Because I'm so young to be considered like a PA or whatever. I don't know if it's just in my head or if it's just them, but every time I go, I feel like it's an awkward situation, especially when there's people behind me in line. Like, I don't know if I should go and just let the barista know that I'm a PA and that I get these benefits, or sometimes I just like skip out and I just don't go because there's people in line behind me. I don't know if it's all in my head or what, but I just wanted to share that with you guys and see what your thoughts are on that. Thank you. Bye.
Ooh, so that was a good call there, and man, that's I feel like I can relate to this one so much. But Allison, I'll let you take it away. I already spoken enough for this episode so far.
I mean, I disagree with that, but I definitely have felt this way before. It's like that imposter syndrome. Like, should I be here? I have specifically felt like this at like financial conferences or conferences when I first started my business. Right? It was like brand new. I was just now there, and I felt very much like, I know that I was a teacher in the past and I belonged there, but do I belong here in this space? Because that opportunity was new for me. And so I think that this feeling is totally justified and totally normal, because this wasn't the norm for the hospital for a while, and everyone might not know it's the norm. So it feels weird to her. What do you think?
Yeah, for me, I deal with like anxiety where I'm like, I just feel uncomfortable. You're kind of thinking like, should I be here? Am I being weird? Do I stand out? Like all these things are running through my head, and instead of just relaxing and just being myself. And I completely get this because sometimes I get really in my head to where it's like I just can't not think that I should be doing something different, and that could be really debilitating, right? And that's just sometimes just me on my own overthinking things. And then when you put into a work setting, there's already another layer of anxiety on top of just your everyday life, because now you're not at home, you're not comfortable. So I can 100% understand why she's feeling this way. But what was hard for me to hear too was that, she really fought for this. Like, she's one of the reasons why they have these new benefits now. But even though she felt worthy enough to fight for it and get it, now that she has it, it's like, is everyone else going to think that I don't deserve this, even though I went through all the effort of getting this?
It's almost like she's wondering, do they know? Do they all know that I have this benefit, or is only my boss know? That's what it seems like to me, is that she's in her head thinking the standard of norm was that only the physicians or certain people, these like people we put on this pedestal, only they get these benefits.
Yeah.
But now that she receives them too, which, hey, by the way, way to go. Number one, like, way to go for fighting for that and for advocating for you and your coworkers to have those types of benefits. So like, I think that deserves an applause, because that takes your time and your energy and your effort to advocate for those things. And it sounds like she's worried that not everybody realizes that they now have the right to these benefits, and that it's like she had the courage to say, hey, no, we need this. But now that she has it, it's like, oh, but I don't want everyone to be judging me because I'm using it.
Yeah. I really admire people who can walk through life just being so confident and comfortable everywhere they go. Like, my brother
is that not you?
No, come on now. It's not me. Like, my brother is that person. Like, he will just walk into a situation. He's just being himself. He's just there. He's just existing. No worries in the world. I'm like, man, how do you do this? And I think that's that's what I strive to be able to do and something I work towards every day. But I feel like it takes time, and it's not easy to walk into situations that feel like you belong all the time. And especially in a work environment where there's already, I think there's all these hangups like when you're at work, right? Because you're trying to do a good job, you're trying to make sure you can, have a solid career and you advance and all this stuff. But at the same time, there's all this like interpersonal stuff going on.
Yeah.
And so I can imagine like you're in the situation where not only maybe there's like the general anxiety of people, you thinking people are judging you, but on top of that, it's like, are the people I work with judging me? And is this going to have some impact on my career down the line? Like if all of a sudden I roll up and, this person who's seeing me come in here looks like I'm stealing food, and now they're going to be involved in some part of my like, promotion or pay raise. Are they going to be like, man, this person's a freeloader out here? And like, I someone who thinks about stuff way too much, I can imagine like that's kind of feeding into this situation at work.
You probably would think the same thing, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
So the question she asked was, is she justified in like kind of feeling worried and feeling like maybe I just won't go at all and enjoy these benefits, or is she just in her head, right? And I want to speak to that in a way that's probably not helpful. Is she okay? And here's what I mean by that. Like, is she in her head 100%? I think she's in her head, which is totally normal. Like, no shade to that. I think she's in her head because she fought for this, and so she sees it as important. Right? She sees the value in this. She has put time, effort, energy, thought into this benefit. And so I think that's why she's in her head thinking about it so much, because she's already spent time prior to this thinking about it. She had to spend time thinking, hey, here's what the physicians get, and then spend time thinking, hey, this is what they get, but we don't have access to that. And then be thinking, wait a minute, they have access to that, we don't. That's not fair. Why is it not fair? And then, okay, who am I going to go to? What are the channels I'm going to, right? She has spent all of this information, time, energy, thinking about it. So I think that's why she's in her head. Now, is she justified to feel that way? I think so, yes, and here's why.
I think you're going to say that. I'm interested to hear your response.
Yes. The reason why is because for however long before her, only the physicians were allowed, only a certain core group of people
those white
were allowed
coats
to have
rolling in there.
Wait, you said it? What?
Those white coats.
Oh yeah, those white coats.
What did you think I said?
I thought you said those white guys, which I was thinking, your brother's one of those white coats, right?
Yeah.
They were this core group of people that got to enjoy these benefits, and now the level of norm has shifted. And is she justified in feeling that way and worrying about it? Yeah, maybe they are thinking that because that has been their level of norm for so long. But after 3 months, 6 months of essentially it being changed, it's no longer going to be a question. It's going to be normal for them to be there. New doctors that come in, it's going to be normal for her to be going in and enjoying those benefits because it was their level of norm from the moment they were hired. So by not going in and enjoying those benefits, you're almost like prolonging that. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, you're kind of keeping the status quo going. Like this is how it's been.
Exactly.
And if you don't ever enjoy these benefits, you might as well not even fight for them at that point.
Exactly. So is she like thinking about it too much? Yes, because that's what she had to do to have change take place.
Ooh.
So she is thinking about it too much, and she is continuing to think about it because she did all the legwork beforehand thinking about it. And could people be judging her or be questioning it? Yes, because it's different. It's a change in the dynamic, and that's okay. It's okay for them to be questioning it. It's okay for that, but it does not mean that she should not enjoy those benefits because eventually they'll stop questioning it.
Oh, that's a good point. That is a good point. It's going to feel awkward up front, but then it'll slowly become more and more normal. But it takes people actually doing it, right? Like you have to go and take advantage of those benefits you fought for. And then now after, I'm sure after a couple of weeks, no one's going to even think anything of it because they're just used to seeing you come in there. You got to go get that free food.
Exactly. It's like probably the first time you shaved your head from going bald. Right? Like
why am I being attacked?
Wait, you're not being attacked. I'm just making a point here. You were going bald early on as a young
I really don't
man,
like this example, but keep going.
And you shaved your head. You said, you know what? I'm going all in on this shaved head thing, which by the way, You look good. You look great there. I can't even imagine you with hair. But whenever people first saw you, there was probably this reaction like, oh gosh, like this feels off, because they were so used to seeing you with a receding hairline.
Wow.
And now you don't have any hairline.
I'm just catching strays left and right in this example.
It's been a while. We haven't done this in quite some time, so I have something to make up. But do you see what I'm saying? It's just like, it's just that initial change that's going to cause people to just kind of stop and look above your eyes for a little bit longer. That's what she's experiencing.
So such a great example. I don't even think I can even add anything to that example. One thing I will say to completely change gears and get you away from my bald head here is that I think, like in the workplace, right? One of the hardest things to do is to fight for the benefits you think you should get, right? Like, and oftentimes in situations where like hospitals, I know a lot of them have unions. I've worked in jobs where there were unions. Like that makes the process a little bit easier, but it's still a battle to go in there and be comfortable and confident enough to say, look, I don't feel like I'm getting what I deserve. And she's already done the hardest part of this is the fight to get what you think you deserve. And now it's the point of getting comfortable with what you are entitled to. And that's like the switch right in your mind. Like you didn't feel like you were getting this, you feel like you should have, but you getting yourself to go in there and start doing it is the next thing you need to do. And I think, like you said, it's just a repetition thing, going in there, doing it a couple of times, like, hey, I'm a physician's assistant. I get this benefit now. Can I get my cup of coffee? And then just after a while, they're going to know who you are. You know, it's not going to be weird anymore. And it'll just feel like nothing, because you fought for this stuff. And yeah, you should deserve some free food, some free coffee every now and then. Come on.
Exactly. I agree. I think that the more she hesitates, the longer she's going to feel this way. So I say, go in every day, get your free food, get your free coffee, and maybe after the 5th or 6th or 7th time, it won't feel uncomfortable and it'll feel normal to you. And that's all that really matters. And I want to say, I hope this inspires people, whoever's listening, to ask themselves, does there need to be a change in my workplace? Is there anything that I can do to ask for in terms of like benefits that aren't always financial? I mean, this is a financial benefit if you think about it, because now she doesn't have to pay for lunch or snacks, things like that. But what other benefits can you tap into and advocate for you and your colleagues that are on the same level that might be provided to others and maybe could be provided to you? So I just want to encourage you to do what she did, because like you said, she fought the hard fight. Like she did the hardest part, but it's worth it for her and people on her same level.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Because I remember like when I would be like at work and they'd be figuring out what we wanted to try to negotiate for, one of the things that they were trying to push for, things like an increased match in your retirement plan. Like, yes, it does cost more money, but it's cheaper than pay, because if you pay someone more money, you have to pay, taxes and Social Security, Medicare, all that stuff on top of it. Versus doing like a match, you can kind of avoid all that other cost. So it's actually cheaper to give like $1 in a match versus $1 in salary. So there's these things you can do, maybe extra vacation time, things like that that aren't as expensive to a company as a pay raise, but give you a nice benefit and something you can enjoy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love it.
Yeah. Oh, before
good.
I had one thing I want to ask you. If you're in our caller's shoes, right, and now you're getting free food, how often are you going in there getting free food? I want to know, like,
every day.
Every single breakfast, lunch.
Why is that a question? Saturdays and Sundays too. Are they open? I mean, to me, every day. Like, if it is something that the company is paying for, and if it's a benefit of my job, why not? Why not take advantage of that? It is kind of like wrapped into the benefits, just like you wouldn't, not use your health insurance. Like, just like if we had an FSA for so long, we put money into our FSA and now we have to use it or lose it by September 1st. I'm not going to just be like, oh, we don't need it. No, I'm going to use it up. So I would go in there every day as long as I liked the food. I mean, obviously.
Yeah, you don't want to, you're not going to just go in there and get nasty food because it's free, right?
No, I wouldn't do that.
Out of principle, like, give me that nasty muffin every day. I don't really want it, but it's free, so I'm going to take it.
Exactly. No, I would do it. What about you?
Oh, see, I aspire to be where you are, because I would be easing in. Like, this is not my advice. I'm just saying what I would do. I walk in there and be like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna get lunch. And then, and maybe I'll get some dessert with my lunch. And then, you know what? I'm going to roll in for breakfast, get some coffee. I will work my way up to being in there every day for every meal.
I would be like, Chris, come visit me at work. You wait down here. I'm going to go get us free lunch. And I'd go up there and I'd get us lunch and bring it back down. That would be me. This
is what you need. You need an Allison at your job who you will just boldly walk in there with you and then take the brunt of all the attention. So maybe that's like one more piece of advice. Maybe if there's other people who are also physician's assistants who just got this benefit, go in there as a group together, like at least like a couple of you, and that way you're not like feeling isolated. It may be hard. Work schedules are always kind of weird in different places, but maybe go in there with someone else, find an Allison bopping around in the hospital and take her with you.
Now I will say, I would only have that confidence if I was like if I knew it was a benefit I could have had access to.
Like you're not gonna just go in there and steal food.
Yeah, if I was like sneaking in and trying to go undercover kind of thing, like that would cause me so much anxiety.
Oh yeah, I can't do that. I cannot be an accomplice of that. I'm gonna be too nervous. And I think our Discord agrees. Logan's in here, no shame whatsoever. Beth Ann said I get that food. So yeah, I didn't go for it.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I forgot I'm the one who wraps up these segments. So thank you to our anonymous caller. We really appreciate it. If you want to be like her and add your awkward story to our rotation, please do. You can give us a call at 707-200-8259, or you can go to awkwardpodcast.com and just write it in the form. You can make up whatever name you want. You can leave it blank. You can put in a fake name, whatever you like. What do you got, Allison?
Put in the name that you want to be named.
The name you always wish you were. Wait, what was yours? You had a name you wish you were, but you didn't get that name.
I did. I'm going to talk about it during the ad read, though.
Oh, okay.
So, after the ad. Well,
our patrons will hear this on the Patreon feed.
My middle name used to be Elizabeth.
It used to be?
Yeah. So when I got married, I moved my maiden name Flores to my middle name. So okay. I am legally Allison Flores Spaggerly because I don't want to drop my maiden name. But I used to be Allison Elizabeth Flores, and I wanted to go by Lizzie.
Was it because of Lizzie McGuire?
I think I was just bored with the name Allison. People were calling me Allie, and I didn't like that name.
So you want to be called Lizzie? It's not that much of a difference.
Okay, to you, right? But it's not about you. It was about me and how I felt at the age of 7 or 8. But anyway, we'll be back after a short ad read or We'll be back after a short break.
Oh man, it's so rough coming back into this, right? It feels like it's been forever. Oh, it is so hot in this room right now. I have a air filter blowing, like this air purifier I have right here, blowing air that's silently. It is not enough.
I have that one.
What is this called? The blue air?
The blue? Mm-hmm. I have that. Yep.
It is. There's not nearly enough air coming out of this. Oh.
Well, it's not meant to cool things off.
I know it's not, but I'm trying to
clean the air.
But it's the quietest fan-like thing I have in this room.
Yeah, that's not a fan, but okay.
Whatever.
Okay, you bring us back because I took us to the ad break.
Okay, because then I'll explain the changes going on.
Yes.
All right, so we're back after hearing that really great anonymous call that we got with their awkward story. And if you may notice, we're going a little bit quicker. We're trying to tighten up the show, make it a shorter show. Because we started off as like a half-hour show and somehow it turned into like an hour-long show every episode. It just slowly drifted out. And we're like, you know what? We got to rein things in a bit. But also, what I'm loving, which is a segment they used to follow this, it is now being picked up and moved over into our Patreon. So it will no longer be here. And what we're going to have here at the end of each episode is our listener shout out. And then we have a special project we've been working on. We've been testing this out in Patreon. It's a segment we call Ain't No Way, inspired by Logan, who said, I apparently say this all the time. So that's where he got it from. And that's going to be another episode we're working on that's going to be in the main feed for everyone. So that will be recorded right after we're done with this. But anyways, those are the changes. And let's just wrap up the show. Let's get out of here. Allison, do you want to? Oh, I think I need to do this because I don't think I wrote it down in the show notes for you. Our listener shout out this week is going to one of our patrons who reached an anniversary. We like to acknowledge our patrons who come in here and support the show, and they're part of our Discord and they get the bonus episodes. They're just really great people to have around. And this time it is Beth Ann, who we're a little early as of recording this because the 13th when we're recording this, but on the 21st of this month, Beth Ann will hit 2 years of supporting us here on Patreon. So
Beth Ann, and she's here live with us.
Oh, is she? Okay, perfect.
Yes, she is. She's here live. Beth Ann, shout out to you. Thank you for joining us for 2 full years.
Yes.
We hope you've made your life a little bit, hopefully less awkward and more fun. But
I hope so.
Thank you for being here with us. And she's typing now in the Discord. See what you get when you're a patron member. You get to know us better. You get to be in the Discord. You get to join us live. It's wonderful. Yeah. And if you're like, yes, give me some of that, then you can go to patreon.com/thisisawkwardpodcast to sign up. Like we said, there is that free trial. They just started doing these free trials over on Patreon. So it's a really great way for you to test it out and see if you like it. So be sure to check it out.
And if you're like, I miss what I'm loving, it'll be over there now for you. All right, I'm looking. I got distracted by the Discord. Then they're celebrating Beth Ann's 2-year anniversary. So we're gonna get out of here, and what you'll be getting next week is an episode of Ain't No Way, which I keep forgetting the name of it, and you'll learn a little bit more about what that's about. But it has to do with lavish lifestyles, and really, it's just my way of seeing would Allison ever pay for this. So we'll get out of here, and we'll catch you next week.
Bye for now.
Ooh.
Okay,
end of the episode.
That was impressive.
Man, we were on it. That's the most on it we've ever been.
Angie, when you put that in the show notes, I had to hold in laughter.
I saw your eyes. I was like, what's going on?
Oh, that's such a good show. Good movie. I should rewatch that with Matt.
Was that Wedding Crashers?
Yeah, that's Wedding Crashers. Matt and I rewatched a couple months ago. Maybe it was over Christmas break. We rewatched Old School. That was the first. Old School was the first rated R movie I ever saw.
Ever? In your life? What year did that movie? I feel like that was like a not that old movie. I know it's old, but let's see.
Yes,
Old School.
I don't judge me. How old was
2003? That movie's that old? Wow. Yes. Okay, yeah, you would have been like 15, 16.
Yeah.
That is kind of old for that to be your first rated R movie, but
yeah. We had it on like DVD or something, or VHS, one of those. Probably DVD by that time. But yeah. So, okay, I'm excited. Can we start the next one? I'm so excited.
Yes, we can. All right. So I turn my air purifier up for like 2 seconds to move air just a little bit.
I was no, we got to go. Air purifiers don't move air.
No, but if you put it on the high setting, it's kind of like a fan. It's just loud at that point. It's not quiet.
It's not a fan, but okay.
It is 84 degrees in this room right now. It is way too hot.
I got to move to a place that has central air. I put it at 75 because whenever I record, I get hot.
Do I have a towel in here? I'm dying.
Oh, gosh.
I'm dying.
This is like in a freaking sauna.
Found this little towel here. Let me wipe my head off. Man, it is so hot.
Did you like my bald head analogy?
It was like you lived my life, Allison. It's like we were the same person.
Was that not a wonderful analogy? I thought it was fabulous. The other day I thought about analogies. The other day I gave a speech to a company in Houston. I gave a speech to multiple hundreds of people in different sessions. And I gave the analogy of a 401k and I'm using this so you cannot use this.
I'm already taking this. I'm making notes right now. I'm going to rip this off 100%.
Nope. This is brilliant.
What was your analogy? You didn't finish saying it.
You can't take it. Tell me if this makes sense, guys. Tell me if this is legit. Your 401k is your really big binder. Remember how you used to like collect CDs and we put them all in the sleeves inside this binder, right?
Okay.
Right? That's your 401k. It holds your investments, and your individual CDs are the investments you're purchasing, and they live inside of that binder.
Oh, okay. What was one of your CDs that would have been in that binder?
Oh my gosh. Alanis Morissette. TLC.
No Scrubs. Oh, that's old. That's a little bit older. Before was that?
CDs were around I remember. Right? I the very first time I heard TLC, "Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls." I was on the bus on the way to elementary school, and they had radios on the bus. And
wait, you had to listen to the radio on the bus?
Yes, they would listen to the rap station radio on the bus every morning and every.
You did go to school
home.
in the
hood. and then yeah, that's what they would listen to. That's what the bus drivers would listen to, and we'd all sing along. 97.9, the box over here in Houston.
I've never heard of that radio station.
I mean, it's okay. You don't live here, so it's fine. And we would listen to the rap radio, and I'd come home being like, oh God. Yeah, like the rap rate, like the number one, like at the time, I think it was probably one of the only ones, like main rap station. And by the time I was probably in, and that's like what we listened to on the bus. That was the bus driver would put it on. Probably all the way through like 8th grade, they finally removed the radios from the buses. Because I mean, it wasn't always the best,
I'm sure some parents complained when their kids told them what they were listening to.
Exactly. So anyway, okay, we got to get going.
All right, let's hop into this. Okay. I'm just going to hit the intro. We're just going to go into it like that.
Yeah.
All right, so welcome to This Is Awkward. We don't have an official intro for this because this is our new episode. We're doing something called Ain't No Way. And before we even get too deep into that, my name is Chris. I'm joined here with
Allison. That's my name.
You can tell we didn't practice this intro. We tried out this new segment on Patreon. I don't know, it was like a month ago, probably when we recorded this. It's actually the final version of it actually hasn't even made it over to our Patreon feed yet. It should be out there probably next week while we're recording this. But what the segment is have you ever been online, right, Allison, and like looked at something and it was interesting, but then you saw the price and you're immediately like, nope, ain't no way I'm buying this. It's not happening because this is just ridiculously priced, right? Have you been in that situation?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is a segment where I go and I scour the internet for these luxury items, these
You do bespoke, the Lord's work.
Yes, and I go find what is the 1% out there buying, and let's look at it and judge it for what it is. This segment was inspired by Logan. He's my friend. He joins us here in Discord, and he said, "I apparently, if something's ridiculous, I just say ain't no way." And I don't even remember doing that, but apparently I do it all the time.
You do it enough, Trent. I know you to know that Logan's being honest here.
Yeah, he's not lying about this. So
yeah,
this is the way the segment works. I got to look down at my notes to remember how this works. So basically, today I've curated, as this very loud car drives by, I've curated 2 items for this episode. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through, I'm going to explain it to you, because a lot of times these sites have just the most beautiful language to describe these luxury items. And I'm going to ask you 4 questions, okay? So number 1, would you buy this? And this is just current Allison, current situation. Would you spend your money on this item? Question number 2 is, what is the most that you've ever spent on an item like this? Okay. So for example, I'll use one we used in our previous episode. It was these custom shoes. So it'd be like, would you buy these crazy expensive shoes? But also, what's the most you've ever spent on shoes in general?
Yes.
Okay. Question number 3 is, what is the most that you would ever consider spending on this item? Okay. So it doesn't have to be as much as this item is, but what's the most you would be willing to put out for a very high quality version of this?
Okay.
And then the last one, which I've tweaked a little bit, is if you woke up a millionaire, would you buy this? And originally I put billionaire, and I've realized quickly that if you're a billionaire, you basically can just buy anything and money doesn't even matter anymore.
In the past, the only other time we've done this, I was like, I'd buy 20 of them because I'm a billionaire. And I did the math. I was like, that's like 0.0002 cents for me. And Chris was like, nothing. This needs to be adjusted.
Yeah. I'm so far removed from what a billionaire is. I didn't think of the consequences of that scenario.
Exactly.
So now it's a millionaire. And let's just say you got $2 million in the bank. So that is like, that's a lot of money, but it's not so much money that you can spend like half of it and be not affected by it, right? Like you're like,
is my retirement covered already?
This is just you got. Let's just say this is disposable. This is money you have available to you. If you spent this, it wouldn't like affect your day to day, but you would just have less money than you had before. So let's put it like that.
Okay, let's do it. I can't wait to hear them.
All right. So the very first item, I turned to the site that has just been a gift to me. It is called gentlemansgazette.com. And on this website, they have an article where, let me find the title of this article.
It's like an inappropriate website.
It kind of does, now that you say that. The article is
like a Playboy website.
I think I can actually show this. Let me put this on screen.
Wait, is it going to give the price though?
No, I scrolled up so you can't see it.
Okay,
next to this Beavis and Butthead ad here, and it's 12 more expensive products. These probably are problems too. 12 more expensive products worth every penny. And so it's just a list of items that are like, they're expensive, but it's going to be worth it. So I pulled the selection here, and I got to scroll down so I can get to the pictures again, because you're gonna need pictures for this. Because you may know what this is, but I probably would not have known what this is if I didn't look it up.
Okay.
The first item today is a leather Chesterfield sofa. And so first of all, do you know what that is? Do you know what a Chesterfield sofa is?
No.
Okay, this is like, I think of like a therapist when I think of these couches. Not that I've ever actually seen them in a therapist's office before, but let me put it here. There's a man lavishly seated upon this couch here. Can I zoom in on this?
Is that like the name? Is that like the couch where Jack painted Rose and she said, "Paint me like one of your French ladies"?
That is a good question. I don't know.
Look it up.
I cannot look that up and show it on screen if that is the couch. But let me see if I can. Oh, here we go. I can make it bigger so you can see. So this is the Chesterfield. It's one of those, like, imagine, since you can't see this if you're listening to the episode, imagine one of those couches that is like really plush and it has like those little, like, kind of like, I guess they're kind of like buttons that put like these these dents in it that kind of make this like kind of pillowy look to it. That's probably a horrible description, but it's like a very like leather plush, if someone's smoking a cigar in the background type of couch.
It's not what Rose laid on in the Titanic, just so you know. I Googled it.
So not a Titanic couch, but a distinguished gentleman's
something
couch,
you would expect to see on the Titanic.
Yes, some rich person on the Titanic probably had this couch in their room. And so let me yeah, it's probably at the bottom of the ocean. But let me just jump into the description here, Allison, before I start asking you these questions here, okay? So everything I'm going to say is from the description on this website here. Okay. So it says, frankly, in your home, one of the easiest ways to get that classic gentleman look is to add a leather Chesterfield sofa. Not all Chesterfields are alike, but how can you distinguish quality from crap? First of all, a quality Chesterfield sofa is built from a solid wood frame, particularly a solid hardwood that is kiln dried, meaning the moisture has basically been sucked out of it because it is dried at a higher temperature. That means the frame won't twist over time and your furniture won't look awkward. That's also why I like this one here. Or uneven. It's typically made of solid maple or beech wood. And yeah, that's all it says there. So this is next up, the best Chesterfields have a really deep tufting, which I guess are those little puffs when you put the little buttons in there. It says, where is it at? Lots of cheaper ones have very shallow tufting. And that's one of the best ways that you can spot a quality one from an inferior one. So if you're out there shopping, now you know. It says, when it comes to sitting on a piece of furniture, comfort is king, of course. Now, Allison.
I agree with that.
Yeah, like that's the most important thing. That's not an exaggeration. You want to be comfortable.
Yeah.
Now, I read this and I'm actually in the market for a couch. And so I'm kind of like, I wonder what this costs.
Yeah.
So it says, just flat out, they're expensive. Okay. Their retail price is typically anywhere between $14,000 to $25,000 for this couch. And you all can't see this. Allison's face did not make a big enough reaction for me. So I'm thinking maybe she's like, that's not that bad for a good couch. So let's just jump into it. Would you buy this couch?
In my current state, no.
What you're thinking about it?
No. What?
You're thinking about it?
No, I would not buy it. I would not. Well, first off, I think that couch is ugly. But let's say it was a couch that I thought looked nice.
Let's say, whatever you think a nice couch is, let's say that's what this is.
I would not the last time I was smoking a cigar in my gentleman's, cave.
Gentleman's cave.
Gentleman's cave. I feel like that's not a good way to put it. But no, I would not spend $15,000 to $25,000 on this couch.
Okay. Now, what is the most that you've ever spent on a couch? Because this may help me as well, because all couch prices seem outrageous to me. So I'm interested to hear what's the most you've ever spent on one.
Ooh, so we got the first couch we ever got together. We got it at a place called The Dump. And we got it for really, really cheap. There's this massive place in Dallas called The Dump.
Oh, wait. I thought you were making a joke that you actually got your couch from The Dump. There's a store called The Dump? Why would you name a store The Dump?
I don't know, but we got a couch there and we got you're Googling it,
I'm Googling it.
We got a couch there and we got a couch there and we got our dresser there, which we still have 13 years later.
I cannot believe this is real. Look, hold on. Look at. Let me. Can I make this bigger? I wish these pictures were bigger.
Go ahead.
Hold on. I'm just gonna show my Google image search here.
Matt's job. He was like, "We're gonna go to The Dump." I was like, "Okay."
It literally says The Dump on the outside of the building. Like in big yellow letters, it says The Dump Furniture Outlet. I cannot think of a worse name for a furniture store. This is crazy.
So that's where we got one of our cheapest. I immediately thought of that. Not that that like makes any sense, but then we kept that couch for probably like 5 to 8 years or something. Then right before we moved here, we got rid of that couch. We sold it to like a friend. And then I'm trying to figure out how much we spent on our current couch. We went to a store called Nebraska Furniture Mart. They have one in Dallas. They're not just in Nebraska. And
Texas has some of the craziest names for stores I've ever heard. You've said some of the just off the wall names I've ever heard.
Rooms to Go is another one that you were like, what? Right? Was that one that you had never heard of? Gallery Furniture. Well, that's not. But anyway, so I think we spent like over $2,000 on our current sofa. It was about $2,000, but it's massive.
I've seen pictures of it. It's like I feel like 10 people could sit on that thing.
Yeah, it could fit like 10 people. It has a chase, and then it also goes around. So we had I had a girls' night a couple months ago, and we had probably like at least 8 to 10 women sitting on the sofa, and then we had other people in like chairs around the sofa. So it's really, really good. So it was $2,000. It was probably anywhere between $1,500 to $2,000. It was expensive. To me, that was expensive.
Okay, that's kind of what I'm seeing. Like as I'm looking for couches, they're basically like you're getting a good deal if it's like around $2,000. Like that's like a solid couch. But like I won't name any of these furniture stores I went into, but their prices.
Go to the dump?
I did not. I have not had the pleasure of setting foot into the dump. But I went to I went to like Ethan Allen. Like there's one up here. And I was like, that sounds expensive. I've never been in one.
Bougie.
These couches were like $4,000 to $6,000 for like a regular 3-person couch. And I was like, I clearly should not have walked into this store. I need to walk out immediately.
You need to go. Like I would love to get one of my things is I would love to get a Pottery Barn couch. Like I would love that. Like I would love to get a nice couch. Or I really want to have nice furniture, like a nice dining room table. Yeah. I cannot justify it with children.
Oh no, they're going to ruin that immediately.
I just can't. I cannot justify spending that much money on anything in my home like that with children. That will ruin it. Yeah.
No. Okay, all right. So I think you helped me understand pricing for couches a little bit better. Okay, so $2,000.
But mine was a really big couch, remember? And it was like
it's massive.
$2,000. I'm trying to find it online, but I cannot. I don't know exactly which one it is out of these.
Well, I want to know then, what is the most that you would ever spend on the couch? Like right now, current income, what is your limit on what you would feel okay dropping on a couch?
Okay, so my thing is if I'm gonna get a couch, I kind of think of it as like getting a car. When I buy a car for a long time. Like
it's sticking around.
All my cars I've had. I had a car for the first car doesn't count because it technically had a junk title. But my second car, we had it for like 10 years, right? Like it was 10 years old, 11 years old when we got rid of it. So if I'm gonna have a couch, I'm thinking I'm going to have it for at least like 7 to 10 years. That's my thinking.
Yeah, like this, for whatever this price is going to be, it's going to have to last for multiple years, getting close to a decade, basically.
Yeah, basically. So because of that, I am willing to spend a little more. So I would say the most I would spend on a couch. Now, when I think of couch, I'm thinking sectional. I'm not buying 2 couches for a living room. I'm buying one big one.
You want one continuous flow of cushions.
I want to be able to sit a large amount of people. Like if I'm thinking of couch, I'm not thinking of just a 3-seater. I'm thinking of a sectional, or I'm just going to combine a 3-seater and like another 2-seater or something, right? I would say $4,000.
Okay, that is lower than I thought you were going to say.
I would say $4,000. Yeah. It's just so hard to drop that much money. Like I didn't spend that much on my bed. It's so hard for me to drop that much money on furniture.
Yes.
Because I would rather drop money on a family vacation. Like, I would rather get the not as expensive, like, if it comes between spending $8,000 on a sofa or spending $3,000 on a sofa and using the extra $5,000 to take my kids on like a cruise or, a family vacation somewhere, I'm going to opt for the $3,000 sofa.
Okay, let's say your kids are grown.
Okay.
So there's no guilt of I could have done something with my family with this money. Kids are grown. This is your money to do with what you please. There's no anything else going on, no other obligations. What's the most you can see yourself spending on the couch?
With my current income?
Current income. Like, you're not making any more money, but magically your kids are 28 and living their own lives.
So I'm not spending money on my kids.
No.
So I have more money each month.
Yeah.
And I can keep the couch for like 10 years.
You can keep it as long until it breaks down.
I would say 4,500. I think 4,000 is spending a lot of money on a couch.
It is.
Like, I think that's spending a lot of money. Plus, I have a game room upstairs, so I need a new couch for that game room. But I'm not willing to even spend $1,000 on a couch for that game room.
Oh no, not for a secondary couch.
They can live. They can deal with the crappy couch up there. Like, I don't know. I think $4,000 is a lot of money for a couch.
It is.
But then again, I don't necessarily care. Like I care how my house looks, but I'm okay with buying like the cheaper stuff.
Oh yeah.
That looks kind of nice, Like, I'm not like a name brand person.
No,
I don't
me
need
either.
name brand stuff.
I think like if I could get like I'm talking about the world's most comfortable couch that has like recliners in it, because Logan's like, you better get one with motorized recliners. If it's like,
He wants to come over.
Yeah, I'm not buying a couch for him. But if it was like the most plush, comfortable couch, it has like a bunch of recliners on it. They're like, it has like that little cushiony thing in the middle where you can like lay on it basically. Like, if it's the most, you ever seen that? It's like kind of like, not like an ottoman, but it's almost like you could lay flat, like not across the cushions. Yeah, kind of like a chase, but they're like, you've seen those ones where like all the way across, all the seats are like super long. Like, you might be able to convince me $6,000 for the world's most comfortable couch that would last for 10 years. You might, like, I don't want to do that right now, but you might convince me if you could promise me this is the best couch I will ever have in my life. You might be able to trick me into doing that. You might be able to.
I don't think I could do it for 6,000, but I could do it for 4,500.
Well, that is good to know. And also, and also, so Beth Ann said that the Dump, they have some nice looking stuff on their website despite the name. There's actually some nice looking stuff on there.
That one time, whenever Matt took me there, and we were too cheap to pay for delivery, so we went and got a Home Depot truck. You could rent a Home Depot truck at the time for like $13 an hour, and we went and rented a Home Depot pickup truck, and we moved everything by ourselves. It was awful. Gosh, my husband is so cheap.
Okay, all right. Let's wrap it up here with this last question for you. If you were a millionaire, would you buy, clearly you don't want this leather Chesterfield sofa, but
no,
let's just say it's a sofa you love and it's priced at $25,000. Would you buy this couch?
I had $2 million sitting in the bank, burning a hole in my pocket.
Yeah, you're solidly a millionaire. If you spent this money, you wouldn't stop being a millionaire. You just would have $25,000 less.
No.
No? Yeah. No, I'm with you. I don't think I could do it. This is too excessive. I feel like there's too many other comfortable couches that are less than $25,000 for me to do that.
And I feel like this is like the opposite of judging. I'm like judging the rich people for spending too much or something like that. I think it's not even that. I think it's like it comes down to where values are, right? If you were to say you could take the most like incredible safari in Africa and get to like see lions up close for $25,000, you had $2 million. Like, that would be like a no-brainer to me.
You would easily do that. You would have no
I would easily do
hesitation.
If it was like taking a first-class flight, the first-class flight was $25,000, but you were going to be, the plane ride was 36 hours long, or I don't know, or 24 hours long, then I would do that because it's like that experience thing for me.
Okay, yeah, I could see it. 'Cause when if people go back and become a patron and go listen to the other episode, we talked about a very luxurious cruise that was ridiculously priced. And spoiler, you were all in, so
Yes,
I can kind of tell where you are.
I'm bringing them and them and them because it's like the experience for me. Whereas the couch isn't an experience to me, but it's an experience to you. See, you see the couch, the entire couch as an experience.
I'm not spending $25,000 on this.
You wouldn't do it if you had $2 million?
No way. Okay. I feel like I can get a really nice, I can get that $6,000 couch that I would not buy right now. But
okay, what if the couch that you were getting had really cool technology in it?
Ooh, now I will say, I went to this.
Oh, there we go.
I went to the store. I forgot what the name of the brand is. They were in the mall. I was just walking by, and they have these couches that are kind of like modular, like you can like take pieces apart and put it like rearrange
Is it the
them.
Love Sack couch?
Yes, the most unfortunate name for a brand.
Really?
I mean,
Worse than the Dump?
I think the Dump is better than Love Sack for a company name. But this couch, you could get speakers built into it, like a subwoofer underneath the cushions of the seat, speakers in like the sides. Now, I'd be willing to creep up a little bit closer for that, like a high quality surround sound built into my couch, like subwoofers, where you're feeling all the sound. The number would get higher. I don't think I could creep up to 25,000, but it would be higher than 6,000. If I was a millionaire, yeah, I would drop that.
Okay, I like that. That's good.
All right, so we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna hop into item number 2 that I found for you, and I think you might be a little more excited about this one.
Oh my gosh, Logan's comment.
What did he say? It says, at the end of the day, a couch is something that people are going to sit and fart on, so maybe you shouldn't break the bank on it.
So is a car.
So is a car. So is every chair in your house.
Yeah.
Oh, the Dump.
Okay.
I cannot believe, I've never heard of this in my life.
No,
all right.
Something us Texans are proud of.
All right, Allison. We're back from the break as you're yawning. And I think I'm really curious to see your response to this one. I came across this because I was on a trip and I stayed in an Airbnb.
In your favorite rocket ship? Flying through the sky?
What is it? Is that a song?
Little Einsteins.
Oh my God.
Is my mom showing?
Yeah, a little bit.
Showing
that
right
was,
now?
but remember that was a big TikTok song for a while.
It was, but before it was a TikTok song, it was just a song playing in my living room every day.
Well, I was not listening to the song. I stayed in an Airbnb in San Francisco because there's not very many hotels in the city. Okay. And I was just kind of scrolling through looking at places, and I came across this beauty here. Let me show this picture without showing you the price here. There we go. Okay.
Okay.
Here we go. This here is the home I came across. Make sure this is the right one. I think it's the right button. This beauty right here.
Oh my gosh. Is it a house? Is it a castle? Is it a house castle?
It is in Beverly Hills, California.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Now mansion. You're talking my language.
Look, for those of you who can't see Allison's face right now, her hand is to her face and she's just staring at this. Like, I want this.
I do. I'm always looking at, like, I'm constantly on Zillow, just scrolling the United States, looking for houses. My dream is to have an A-frame cabin in the woods. Oh, that staircase is gaudy.
Yeah, that was
a little too intense for me. But the pool, the outside, like, oh my goodness. So you came across this house?
Yeah, I can't. No, not physically, digitally scrolling on Airbnb. And if you're listening to the podcast, you can go to the Popcorn Finance YouTube channel. You can see me scrolling through this.
Is it Airbnb you can rent?
Yes, you can. You can rent this place.
Oh my goodness! Oh, you're gonna tell me the nightly price?
Oh yes, I am. And this looks like Bruce Wayne lives here. So,
wow.
All right, I'm moving it off the screen so I can read this so you don't see this. Okay. All right, so this is a luxury stay in Beverly Hills, California. It can fit up to 16. It's a 16 plus guests. There are 8 bedrooms, 8 beds, 8.5 bathrooms. Okay. Mm-hmm. It is the French Baroque estate in Beverly Hills. Now, let me read you a little bit of the description here. So it's just off North Beverly Hills Drive. This classical French style estate is in prime location for enjoying all this iconic area has to offer. With an incredible amount of indoor and outdoor space, it's perfect for large-scale entertaining, extended family vacations, and maybe even a romantic wedding ceremony.
Oh, can I guess the nightly price?
Yes, you can. Well, let me give you a little more details to help you with
Oh,
this.
it
All right?
does look like a wonderful place for a romantic wedding ceremony. I
Right?
agree.
So it says outside, you'll love the swimming pool and hot tub combination. There's a media room with a home theater. There's a gym. What else is in there? There's a wine cellar where you can find a bottle that pairs well with your meal. Let's see, what else would you have on here?
So the wine's included.
That's what it sounds like. Like you can walk in there and grab some wine. I don't know if there's a limit on how many bottles of wine you can take with you. It says there are 6 bedrooms in the main house, 2 more in the guest house. All of them have their own ensuite bathrooms and standalone showers. The primary bedroom features a sauna, steam shower, walk-in closet, and lounge with a fireplace. Okay? Dang, you can spend the afternoon shopping on Rodeo Drive, take a trip to the beach at Santa Monica Pier, book a round at Wilson and Harding Golf Course, or spend a day with the family at Universal Studios. So, Allison, I would love for you to guess the price per night on this 8-bedroom, 8.5 bathroom luxury Beverly Hills mansion.
I'm going to say $500 per bedroom. So I'm guessing $4,000 per night.
You know what? You could live in a portion of the house for that nightly rate.
How much is it per night?
Per night. And I'm sure the prices fluctuate, but I just put in random dates here of July 14th through July 17th. It is $15,873 per night. Let me put this on the screen for you. Hopefully it's the right button.
That is ridiculous. How much availability is there? Are people paying this?
That's a good question. Let's see.
I want to see like how many blocked off dates there are.
For August.
There are no month, or they just haven't opened it.
Oh, maybe it might be, maybe, I can't tell if they just aren't allowing it, but it is booked up for large chunks of time here.
They just don't have
that's what it is. Okay, so that may be the problem. So it looks like
they
July, there's some
that,
dates.
That way it looks, oh my gosh.
Maybe they're out of town for that week and they're renting it out.
$8,000. Does it look like someone lives there full time and they're just renting out their full-time house?
I have no idea, but I can let you know for 3 nights, it's going to cost you $50,000.
Wow. Okay, let's get to our questions.
All right, so here are the questions. Allison, would you rent currently, with your current income, would you rent this Airbnb?
Ain't no way. No.
I would bankrupt myself if I tried to rent this Airbnb. No. Okay, we can just move on to the next question because I think that's a very clear answer for both of us. What is the most that you've ever spent renting? Let's just say this brought it out. Hotel, rental home, Airbnb, VRBO, whatever, any type of rental situation.
Oh my gosh.
What's the most you've ever spent?
When we were in Hawaii this summer, we spent 4 nights in Maui in this really nice Westin Marriott. Are those partners? I don't remember. Hotel.
Maybe.
And we paid, I want to say, for us to stay in like a little hotel. It had a little kitchenette. It had a washer and dryer actually in it. I want to say we spent like $850 a night.
Ooh, that is a fancy place.
It was. So we only did 4 nights. We couldn't justify a whole week.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
We can stay here 4 nights and that's it. But it did have a like washer and dryer in it. That's the most I've stayed. Now, Matt and I have we love going to the Excellence resorts, specifically Excellence Playa Harris. The next one we want to try out is Excellence Oyster Bay. They're all-inclusive, adults-only resorts. So we have paid probably like $6,000 for 5 nights, but that includes
everything though.
All your drinks, all your food. We just bring money to tip, so that's different. And we had we got the rooftop terrace with the plunge pool. Like we splurged. So in terms of like a standard hotel room type situation, I would say $850. Oh, it might have been more. Evan and I we stayed at one of the really nice resorts at Universal in Florida. One of the nicest ones. Not the Hard Rock, but the other one.
And I know those can get pricey being close to an amusement park.
They are. It was walking distance. We stayed 3 nights and we spent for a 3-day trip, just the park and the hotel we spent park passes and the hotel. I spent $3,000 on just the park and the hotel.
But
so I would say
that's
probably
extra stuff though. That's not
there
just
was an extra. Those were the park tickets. So I would say probably like $850 a night.
Okay.
It's the most I've ever spent. What about you?
You know, I can't. I'm pretty cheap, so I don't really know how much I've spent. I remember when I went to Hawaii. We went to Hawaii years ago. I think we stayed at a bed and breakfast in Maui, and I want to say that was probably the most I ever spent per night. But I can't remember the price. It probably was like in the probably $400 to $500 per night, somewhere in there. I could think of. And
okay, go ahead.
Oh, we got to split our time. We were only there for a handful of nights because like, okay, we can't afford the whole time.
Yes. I am big on that. I am big on splitting time. Like I don't mind splurging for like 1 or 2 nights. So we leave for Maine on Saturday morning and we're spending 2 nights at this really nice bed and breakfast in Bar Harbor, Maine, near Acadia National Park. And then the other 2 nights of our trip, we booked for free for hotels. So we're spending $1,000 to stay at that bed and breakfast for 2 nights.
But the other one's going to be free because of your points.
But the other 2 nights are free. So I see it as like, that kind of spreads the cost out. And those were just because of my husband's credit card points.
Yeah, and I'm like that too. Like probably the most expensive hotel I've ever stayed in was in Manhattan. I think it's called the JW Marriott. It's right across the street from Central Park. Ooh. And I used points. But normally this hotel room would have been like $1,100 a night. And there is no way in the world you were ever going to get me to pay $1,100. Spoiler for whatever the next question is. I'm not going to pay that per night. But with points, I'll do that all day. But speaking of the next question, what is the most that you would ever spend on a hotel stay?
Oh, see, I spend a lot.
Yeah, let's say like the most and we'll say 2 nights minimum. We'll call this a weekend thing. Like it's just for 2 nights. What is the most you would spend?
Like if I were to go to like, they have these like really fancy resorts like in Vermont. Like one of the places I really want to go is Blackberry Farm.
Blackberry Farm. Is it an actual Blackberry Farm?
I think it's called Blackberry Farm, Tennessee.
Cool. And while you look that up, we got a question in here from ADHD Phi Life. It said, what's the cleaning fee? So I went, I don't see a cleaning fee, but I can tell you this. It shows that there is a hospitality fee of $2,428, and the taxes are the very devilish number of $6,666.
Oh my gosh, that's ridiculous.
So there you go.
So one of my things is I would love to stay at Blackberry Farm. I've heard of this. Oh, I don't want to get events. Okay, skip. I'm trying to see how much it is. Oh, there's like nothing available. Not available. Not available. Nothing's available.
They're so popular.
Maybe.
What do you think it is? Like, what's the range on that?
I think it's going to be like $2,000 a night, maybe more.
So you'd be willing to spend a couple of grand per night for a very specialized, like specific place, like this unique experience. You could bring us to do that like once for a weekend.
Yes, I would. I would. I really would. Yeah.
I think if I knew it was gonna be a one-off thing, and I was like, I don't have to do this like multiple times. If it was like, I want like luxury though. Like I want like the best experience I've ever had, like where I could just live it. Oh, did you find the actual price?
I found the prices for like this little cottage suite. It's the average rate is $2,345 a night. So I mean, like what would make this a really easy yes for me?
Okay, what?
If I went with a girlfriend. If I went with a friend and we could split the price in half.
Okay. Do you want 2 separate beds? Like, what if like you only get 1 bed in this luxury? You guys gonna just share it and live with
I would sleep in I slept in a king size bed with Caroline in Mexico for a night. Like, I would do that. How big do you think I am?
Well, that's true.
Like for me, like I could see myself doing that. I could see myself booking like 1 night. I say that though, like never having done it.
That's the thing. It's like, it's one thing to be like, I think I could, but then when it comes time to hit pay and put your credit card number in there. Well, let me ask you this then.
Yeah.
If you were a millionaire, would you book this $15,000 per night Airbnb mansion?
No.
Really? Even as a millionaire?
with $2 million, that is how much of your what percentage of that? See, I'm like, is that
like, how much will I have left if I spend $50,000 on this mansion?
that's 2.5%. If I have $2 million, because you said $2 million.
Yeah, I just picked that number at random. Let's just
5%. You know what? I would.
Hmm.
No, I wouldn't. I can't. I can't do it. I can't do it.
You can't do it. Yeah, I mean, that is a lot.
Would
I think
you?
it's kind of similar with the couch. I feel like there's some other really good options under this price point that I could experience, like luxury and once in a lifetime stay, but for like half the price. I feel like if I was spending $25,000, that is still a ridiculous amount of money. But I feel like that would also have to be very nice.
I would spend $25,000 if I had $2 million in the bank. I would spend $25,000 for how many nights did you say?
Looks like 2 nights, 3 nights.
Only 2
14, 15,
nights?
16, it's 3. This is 3 nights for $50,000.
Oh, I don't know. I think my middle class life just runs so deep. I can't imagine that.
We don't have that billionaire mentality. I'm not used to dropping money like that. I would say if I got $2 million, right? And it's 50, and I got to spend $50,000 on a stay. If it was in a like once in a lifetime location, and
like the Disney castle.
I don't know what that is, but the
castle at Magic Kingdom.
It's just $50,000 to stay in that.
So they have it. They do like what's that thing? Like an auction for it. You can.
Oh no, I don't like the idea of auction. That sounds like it's gonna be very expensive.
Yeah, no. I would stay in the Disney castle.
Oh my God. Hold on. Oh, okay. So I found this article. I just Googled Disney Castle Hotel. And where is it at? I just saw the price here. It said, where is it at? No, when it tells you and then you click the article and I'm like, I have no idea where this is.
Well, anyway,
when I went back, it said that the winner paid $75,600. There were 114 bids placed for Cinderella's castle suite.
For how many nights? One night?
It doesn't say, and I don't want to read this entire article to figure that out.
If I had $2 million in the bank, I would book that for $75,000.
Okay, you would spend $75,000 for this, but not $50,000 for it.
Stay in Cinderella's castle.
What do you?
You can't just do that.
Okay, so it says right here. However, the auction was not. It says the auction was not just for a single night in Cinderella's castle suite. It also included a vacation package for 3 nights and 4 days at Walt Disney World. It included 4 round-trip coach airfares.
Absolutely done.
Ground transfers between Orlando Airport and Walt Disney.
I'm staying in Cinderella's castle. I'm not staying in coach.
Room accommodations consisting of 1 standard room for 2 nights at Walt Disney World Resort, selected by Disney. And it's wait, so you don't get to be there the whole time?
No, you get there one night.
Oh, you only get one night? They're going to put you just a random other hotel?
One night, and then they put you probably at like the Polynesian or something.
Yeah, it says a Walt Disney World Resort. You get 4-day theme park
VIP
passes.
Tour for 8 hours one day. That's not bad.
And you get a gift card valued at $2,000.
Okay. Oh, I would pay if I had $2 million, I would pay 75. I would pay $100,000 for that.
Wow.
Yes.
$100,000.
Because you can't get that. That is not like you can go at this Airbnb and you can sign up any day of the week you want for that $15,000 per night house. No, you cannot get Cinderella's castle. That's like.
So do you just walk out into the park? Like you just walk out of your hotel room and you're in the park?
In the park. You are the first people in the park. You are in the park. You go to bed. Everyone leaves. You are left in the park. Can you go to the park at night? Like just like walk around? Or they're like security's gonna be like, no, you gotta get back in that room. There's nothing to do. I mean, you can't like go on I can't like you know how to turn on the rides, but the fireworks come out of the castle you are staying in. You get to see, it's kind of like you get to see like an aspect of something that eyes don't get to, like a normal person's eyes never get to truly see this in person. Like that to me, I'd pay $100,000 for that. Not now, if I had $2 million.
Huh. Okay. All right. So it has to be you will drop that type of money on a place to stay, but it has to be you drop more than that than our other example, but it just has to be the most exclusive, once in a lifetime type of scenario.
It's the exclusivity there. That's
and there's
what
only
it
one
is.
night. You're only getting one night there, even though you're paying.
You just don't sleep that night. You keep your eyes open and you experience it to the last drop. So
Okay.
absolutely, I would do that. If I had $2 million, I would spend $100,000 for that vacation.
Okay. All right. I respect it. I would do it if it was like probably not here at that location, but something that's once in a lifetime. I could invite like a bunch of family and pay for them. Like I would do it once. That jump that 50,000. But
what is your version? What if you could stay in that Star Wars spaceship on Hollywood Studios?
Oh, that looked too much. Like I'm an introvert, and you gotta be like, you're like living in the Star Wars world. There's like actors bouncing around.
I'm not talking about that one. I'm not talking about that one that anyone can get into.
No, the cruise ship hotel thing, right? It's like a spaceship, but it's a hotel.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you go to Hollywood Studios and you stay in the park, in the Rise of the Resistance ride, inside that.
Are you just making that up? Is that a real thing?
Falcon. I'm making it up.
I don't care. I don't really care about Disneyland like that. I've not been to Disneyland in like 20 years. So
okay, I'm using something that does not like apply to you.
Yeah,
that's the issue.
If it was something that was like a once in a lifetime for me that I cared about, which I can't think of an example, I would. If I had $2 million, I would drop it on that for that experience, whatever that would be. I have no idea what it would be, but
okay, we'll figure it out. We have some homework to do.
All right, but yeah, there we go. That is Ain't No Way. This is our new episode that we're running into our podcast feed. And this is just a fun one. I just like looking at it ridiculously expensive stuff and hearing Allison's reactions.
I'm going to find something next time.
Okay, Allison, you will be in charge of finding the next one. But we're going to get out of here for this episode. If you want to join us and get even more bonus content, you get to hear us test out all kinds of random segments that we're trying out, like Ain't No Way. You can go to patreon.com/thisisawkwardpodcast. Starts at $3, but our $5 tier now has a 7-day free trial where you can go in there and listen to all of our episodes ad free. You get all of our bonus episodes with like dozens of them that we've recorded up to this point, and you get into our Discord with our great patrons like Beth Ann's in there, Scroggy Mama. I think Angie, I saw her in there. Logan's in there. So come and join us, be a part of what we do, and I guess we'll be back soon with some more awkwardness.
I can't wait.
See ya.
ADHD Phi Life wrote, I love Allison's passion about this. I am passionate about it.
You are extremely passionate about this.
Cinderella's castle.
I had no idea that even existed.
Oh, I did. I looked it up while I was there. I'm reading all the articles. I'm like, oh. Okay. Oh, I'm so excited. Let's move into our Patreon episode. Okay, guys. I know we've been going for a while. We're trying to get 3 episodes in one recording. So we are going to move into our Patreon episode.
Would you like intro music?
I would like intro music, please. Thank you. Thank you for the intro music. Chris,
you're welcome.
I'm excited about this Patreon episode because I'm spearheading this sucker, and we're gonna have some fun here.
I'm interested to see what this is gonna be.
Chris knows nothing. Oh, Scroggy Mama has to tap out. That's okay. You can always come back whenever this is on the feed and listen to it.
Yeah.
Okay, so really quick backstory. You remember whenever I told you that Matt wants to live to 100?
I do.
And
I very vividly remember this.
30-pound baby over his head.
Yes, a
but
large
he actually
child.
says it's like luggage or something, like a large child, but luggage. So he has gotten really, really, really into this longevity stuff. Like I'm talking, he's in deep. If this Dr. Peter Attia started a cult, Matt would be there signing his life away in blood, like dragging me, kicking and screaming, right? He is into this stuff. So he listens to these. He has 3-hour-long podcast episodes, is what Matt says. Yeah, and Matt listens to them. He has this like crazy book. He's been, he's like the bee's knees right now. Like he's what everyone's talking about. The bee's knees. I just aged myself. Anyway, so Dr. Peter Attia, who my husband and my mom love. My mom and Matt will talk back and forth about the podcast episodes and everything like that. So it's all about like working out and being healthy, not to bulk up and be like massive, but for longevity.
To be
so
fit.
Like lean, fit. So the goal is like, if you want to be able to lift 20 pounds over your head whenever you are 100, you need to be able to lift 60 pounds over your head now. So like getting it to that, right? So anyway, Matt has been obsessed. And one of the things that Dr. Peter Attia prescribes by are cold plunge pools. And they have become very popular. And they are like $3,000 or $4,000. Like you can Google it, cold plunge pool. It's literally a bathtub.
What makes it different than just putting ice in your bathtub?
So the difference between putting ice in your bathtub is that you don't have to put ice in your bathtub every time. You don't have to always buy ice.
Oh, so it cools itself.
It cools itself. So you can get a cold plunge pool. Here's a cold plunge tank for $9,600.
Oh my! This should have been on the Ain't No Way.
The one that was like it was as seen on Shark Tank, and it's $5,000 for this cold plunge pool, and it basically filters it out, and it just gives you an indoor bathtub that you can set your temperature down to.
This is a
oh my
still
gosh,
from Shark Tank.
It?
What's
oh
name? Robert
gosh.
From Shark Tank inside of a giant tub.
I sent you a link. I sent you a link in our private chat.
Okay, let me look at it.
Matt has been like so into these things, like wanting to do it. We even bought a whole bunch of ice, and he tried to sit in our bathtub, but he's 6'4", so sitting in a bathtub can't fully submerge himself without his feet sticking out or something.
I know the struggle. I've not been able to take a bath in years since I was a child.
So he started doing like cold showers, like 30 seconds cold showers, all this stuff. So anyway, fast forward to Father's Day, and since he's home from work and off for the summer, starting in like probably the middle of May, he started like consuming a whole bunch of YouTube videos and content on how to build your own cold plunge pool at home because he really wants one. So for Father's Day, I was like, okay, look, why don't, like for Father's Day, your gift, because he's the hardest person to buy for, your gift is you can get the materials to buy a cold plunge pool. To make it yourself, to DIY it. So he was like, okay, great. So he went to Home Depot. We measured it out. He bought a chest freezer. So he bought like a regular like chest freezer, and he
like you're talking about like those like the deep freezers that people put like their food in.
Yes. I'll have to take a picture. I'll take a picture and I'll put it on. I talked about it on my threads, and I even had a video of like showing what it looks like. Replied back to someone, but I'll put it on Discord. I'll take a picture and put it on Discord. But it's this deep freezer, and he filled it with water. He put an aquarium filter in it. So like a filter you would put in an aquarium. He read all about how to do this. He sealed the ends up with water weld on the inside. He filled it up with water, and he has a thermometer and a temperature setting attached to it. So the thermometer lives in there, and when you choose the temperature you want it to shut off at. So he has it set at 55 degrees, and once that water hits 55 degrees, it shuts off and it stays at that degree. Like it doesn't ever go down below that.
Okay.
So it doesn't turn into ice, and
you're not gonna be frozen into a block of ice.
Yeah. It essentially turns it into a cold plunge pool, right? And so we have it in our garage, and I have it on my habit tracker. I have been doing a cold plunge every single day.
Are you serious?
Yes. What? I never thought I would do this. I never thought. But I get in, and Matt does too, and he's all scrunched up in there. And my goal is to stay in for 3 minutes at 55 degrees. We used to have it set at 50, but then I asked him to raise it just 5 degrees. He's like, it's all in your mind. I was like, I don't care. I don't care.
You're not getting the full benefits, all right? You got to put that extra 5 degrees down.
After we record, I'm going to do my cold plunge because I haven't done my cold plunge for the day. And then he does 5 minutes. And there's all of these benefits like for inflammation and everything like that. But I just put on music and I set my timer and we do this cold plunge, right? So I'm going to put pictures up. After we stop recording, I'm going to go out and can you pull up Threads online?
No, I think it's only on your phone. There's no like browser version of it yet.
Liar, pants on fire.
No, there's no web browser version yet. That's what people keep asking for. It's only a mobile app.
Liar.
Why?
Pants on fire.
When it comes to technology, of the two of us, who do you think knows the answer to this question?
Well, let me see. Here, I'm gonna put this in a comment to you, and look at that.
Let's see. I'm going to paste it in.
But I can't see my video, unfortunately. Anyway.
Oh, okay. All right. I can't go to Threads, but I can apparently see. Oh, it just gave me your account. It didn't give me like a specific one.
Oh, I found it.
Here we go. So this is, move this out the way.
Okay.
How deep in your Threads is it?
It's not. It's under my husband built a cold plunge pool, and then I responded to it.
Wait, where is it at?
I responded with a like thing, but I can't find it. Regardless, it doesn't matter. What I want to say is that because I have a video response for him, and then I want to say that all of this stuff is from Peter Attia's like thing. Like he did this whole thing about Peter Attia, right? He's obsessed with him. But one of the things that he also was obsessed with was that show Limitless on Disney Plus. Did you ever watch it?
I watched the movie Limitless.
Is that the same thing?
I think the show's based off of the movie.
It's with Chris Hemsworth.
In the movie, it's not. I think it's like Bradley Cooper, where you take like a pill and it like unlocks your mind and you can do all kinds of crazy stuff.
Whoa, absolutely not.
That's Limitless.
Limitless is not that.
It's a movie.
It is no. It is.
What do you mean? What do you mean? No, it's a movie.
Limitless is a documentary that Peter Attia is in, along with. No, that is not.
It's a movie with Bradley Cooper from 2011, where he takes his little pill, his little clear pill, and it like unlocks his mind. He becomes like basically like a ridiculous genius who can. He just becomes wealthy because I forgot what he does. I think he's like a job in finance or something, and he like knows how to do everything and becomes crazy.
That's not what
rich
I'm
and powerful.
talking about. I'm talking about Disney Plus.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is the original Limitless, so I'm sorry.
Documentary Limitless. Okay, so regardless, I will say that Chris Hemsworth is in it. I highly recommend it because Chris Hemsworth is extremely attractive and he has his shirt off often. And so anyway, after the first 4 episodes, he does like takeaways, like something you can do to be healthier, either in your mind and your like, and it's amazing. You need to watch it. Please watch it. So I'm going to read you the takeaways, the action items after each episode.
It has to do
and
with
I want you to tell
plunges.
me if you would do them.
Oh, okay. All right.
Cold plunge is one example of something he did that they talked about in one of the episodes. And what Chris did in that episode was he swam in the Arctic, like so many hundreds of meters or something, like in the ocean in the like 32-degree weather or water or something. So here's my question. Okay. Episode 1. At the end of the first 4 episodes, they have these takeaway like action items, like what Chris can do or what Chris Hemsworth is going to do. And it gives you ideas for how you can apply this to your life too. So you ready? Episode 1 was all about stress. Okay.
Okay.
So the first thing is to keep his stress levels under control. Chris Hemsworth is going to practice mindful meditation 3 times a week.
Okay. That's not bad. I would do that.
Would you do it? Yes,
Starting off nice and easy. Okay, I could do that.
Remember box breathing if he gets tense.
Ooh, I learned about that technique and I've tried it.
Oh, is it good? I've never tried it.
I think it's like you inhale for 4 seconds, you hold it for 4 seconds, you exhale for 4 seconds, and then you hold that for 4 seconds. You kind of like
that gives me anxiety.
No, it's
stresses me out because I'm afraid I'll forget to. I'll be like, I have to. How many seconds left? Like I'll freak out.
I think you can count to 4 and hold your breath for that long. I think you'll be okay.
I don't know. I say that whenever I think I'm going to play like the staring game where you don't blink. And then all I can think about is blinking and I blink immediately. I think they'd be the same way with holding my breath. So,
it's 4. Okay, anyways, let's keep going. Okay.
The next one is the last one, action item for episode 1, is when under pressure, try positive self-talk.
That's good advice. That's a hard one to remember and be mindful of, but I would do that. Okay, this isn't crazy. I thought this was going to be like some intense stuff I'm going to have to do.
Sure. Okay. Episode 2 is all about like shocking your system. Like it's good to shock your system every now and then. Okay. So here are the 3 action items from the episode. This is like things he did to shock his system. The first action item, to build shock into his
I don't like how you're saying shock.
Chris is planning to take early morning ice baths 3 times a week.
Is it doing the Baggerly plan? Okay, I would try that.
You would try that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Regular 20-minute saunas at around 175 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay, see, I don't have a point of reference for what that feels like. I've been in a sauna, but I have no idea what temperature it is in a sauna. Let me see.
That if you were to cook a chicken to that much, it would be overdone. That much temperature.
What is sauna temperature? What is normal? Okay, normal sauna is 150 to 175 degrees. Okay. All right, yeah.
20 minutes regularly.
Okay, yeah, I used to go. So when I was doing like a big weight loss thing with competition with my friend, I would work out in the morning and I would go to the LA Fitness nearby and I would go get in the sauna for like 15 minutes to try to like lose as much water weight before we had our weigh in. So gosh. I would do that. That's not too crazy.
Okay, and the last one to add more shock into his routine is cold water for the last 30 seconds of every shower.
See, I've heard of people doing this and I don't like the idea because that just does not feel enjoyable. Like I've accidentally gotten to the shower too quick and before the water heated up and it's like, no, this is horrible.
It's meant to shock you. It's meant to put shock.
I don't like that. Beth Ann says she's done that.
Okay, Chris, I want you to try that.
Okay.
I want you to do it and then report back on Discord.
I will say this. I have done that. Maybe not the coldest setting, but when it's like hot, like in the middle of summer, like if you take a really hot shower and you get out, you're just gonna be like sweating still because you were so hot.
No.
So I've done that to where I turn it on a colder temperature to cool down before I got out.
I want the coldest setting. Your other option is to sit in 55-degree water for 3 minutes.
I feel like I'd rather do that. I feel like I'm prepared to just once you submerge yourself in the water, you're just all equal temperature versus icicles firing at you out of a shower head.
Icicles firing at you. Okay.
There's something more dramatic about that.
I still want you to try it and report back.
Okay.
Episode 3 of Limitless, the documentary
not
made
the
by
Bradley Cooper movie,
National Geographic, is all about fasting and how fasting is good for your body and for your like internal system. And they go into like the cells of your body and how like fasting like kills your zombie cells. They do all these really great illustrations. So in the show, Chris Hemsworth fasts for I think like 4 or 5 days straight. And his friend,
what does he have to prove? What is he trying to prove? Okay.
And his friends did it with him, and he had just done a interview like with the camera being like, I feel like I can do this. He was like on day 2. And he was like, I feel like I can do this because I got my guys in it with me. Like, they're so great. And they show him walking away and they're hiding behind a car eating pizza. And he's like, I was just saying how y'all were in this with me. So anyway, so for fasting, right? It's supposed to be good for you. So to build fasting into his routine, Chris is planning to, number 1, avoid eating before midday at least 3 times a week.
Okay, I do that accidentally all the time, so I'm okay with that one.
Okay.
Like I just forget.
Check.
Yep, easy.
Check. Okay, number 2, go 24 hours without food once a month.
I could do that. I don't want to do that, but I've done that before. I've fasted for a day before, and
a full day, 24 hours.
Yeah, I didn't like it, but I've done it.
Okay.
My brain is not very sharp without food. I will say that much.
Okay. And then, he said that once he got past a certain, like the first 2 days, it's like super sharp and you're not even aware anymore that you were fasting. But
yeah, because you're dying at that point. You know,
you
see the light in the distance. You're just being like, oh, well, take me away.
The third thing is to fast for 4 days once a year. Nope. ... maybe.
Yeah,
what it says.
There's a lot of dots. Like 4 days sounds ridiculous. Like only way I could ever see myself doing that is like for 4 days, I don't have to do anything. But then if you're not doing anything, you're just focusing on the fact that you're not eating. So I don't know what would be better, like to have to do stuff and be hungry, or to not do anything and be hyper aware that you're hungry. I don't like either of those two options.
What's funny is that it was like a documentary, so it's following him around. So he's at home making breakfast for his kids.
No.
And he's like, this is miserable, but he's like cooking them eggs and sausage.
I'm not cooking anybody. If I'm not eating, I'm not making food for anybody. I'm not sitting next to anybody eating food.
Oh,
I do not like that. No, of all the things you listed, that is the one at the bottom. I would not want to do that one the most of all of these.
Okay, so episode 4, which is the last episode.
I thought this was the worst of it. Okay.
No, this is not too bad. Episode 4, which is the last of the ones that have the action items. So I think it's a 6-episode series. It's all about strength. And in this episode, they actually showed him like preparing for Thor, to be Thor on set. And he had to take a break because he injured himself. So like he had to take a break from this, and he had to keep going and film Thor and bulk up for Thor. And they actually showed him like, oh, I'm about to go on set without a shirt. And so you see him like pumping iron like right before he goes onto set. So everything's like, anyway, so then they come back.
I like how you carved out a little section of time to describe him working out to get ripped right before he goes on camera. I think that was very important that you included that part.
Anyway, so he had to basically like dangle, like he had to climb a rope. Like he had to be dropped on a rope over like a gorge and like climb up it. And it was like all about strength. So it's about strength, not like getting really buff strength, but other type of strength. So
like old man strength, where they're not like, they don't like old man strength, where they don't look buff, but they're like secretly strong and they don't look very strong.
Exactly. Okay. So to get most out of his muscles, Chris is planning, number 1, endurance training for 2 hours a week.
Now, when you say endurance, does that mean running?
Endurance training for 2. I have no idea. Someone that's obviously in more shape than us needs to answer this.
I mean, I take offense to that. You know, as a fellow Chris, I feel like we have pretty similar builds. You know, I feel like.
Would you do endurance training? That would be like, I guess that would be running.
No, I've never run more than a mile consecutively once. I've ran a mile one time in my life, and that was it. I've never run a consecutive mile after that.
Okay, so here's another example, or here's the second one. To get the most out of his muscles, Chris is planning to do more climbing to work a wide range of muscles.
Like rock climbing?
Yes, like climbing up stuff.
I would do like a rock climbing gym. I don't want to go outside and like climb real rocks, but I would go to like a rock climbing gym. I'd do that. I'm not gonna be good at it, but I would do it.
Okay, then the next one, the last one, is daily exercise away from the gym. So things like one thing, like cutting wood, like using an axe to like cut wood.
Like the TikTok guy, he was like out there like with his like tight white shirt on. He's like, oh yeah. It's just like, he's just sitting there with the camera on him cutting wood. That's all he's doing. He's like cutting logs. I have
not seen that. Can you send it to me? I think I need to see that to really understand what you're saying.
Oh, for research purposes.
Yes. So would you do that? Daily exercise away from the gym. Like getting like big heavy things and throwing them around like you're freaking like PETA in the Hunger Games, just throwing rocks, throwing boulders, sacks of flour.
Yeah, I would do that one because you know what? That's more. Sometimes that's more interesting because lifting weights is kind of boring after a while. You're just like, nothing's happening here. Okay, here. This is for your benefit. Here's this wood guy. Oh wait, is it gonna let me show this without a little login thing popping up? Here's a wood chopping guy. He just this is somebody reacting to the wood chopping man.
I'm like, I don't what that person.
This is him. This is the guy here out there in the wilderness just chopping logs. There you go.
Wow.
Chopping entire trees.
That was impressive.
But yeah, I would do that.
Okay,
again, probably won't be good at it.
I will say that episode 5 and 6 are different. They're about episode 5 is about memory, and episode 6 is about acceptance. And episode 5 is about like sleeping well and all these things. And I will say, I don't know, should I do a spoiler here?
Can you spoil the show?
Okay, so basically
He
during
dies at the
this
end.
process, during this process, he had to undergo, Dr. Peter Attia put him under like these massive, massive, massive amounts of blood scans and body scans
Ooh.
and all these things.
Chris Hemsworth.
And during this process, he found out that he has this like really, really rare like indicator of early onset Alzheimer's.
Oh, that's where that came from. 'Cause I remember hearing the stories about that. Like he was going to take a break from acting because of this.
Yes, it says that like it's like really, 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 and so he had like Dr. Peter Tia. They weren't ever expecting this to come out, but he reacts in episode 5. Like Dr. Peter Tia pulled him aside and told him privately, and he said he just like I'm getting goosebumps, like he just broke down. And then he comes on the show, and as Dr. Peter Tia's like, I couldn't put him on camera and tell him this news on camera because it was so bad. And so he says it's just made him like more like desire to change and be healthy because that can have an impact on it. But it's like really, really bad like indications of it basically.
Wow, what a downer way to end this show.
Yeah. Anyway, you should go watch it. It's great.
I'm depressed.
Yeah.
Now.
Okay. So here's what he says. He says he has the 2 copies of the genes. His makeup includes 2 copies of the gene APOE4, one from his mother and one from his father, which links to an increased risk of Alzheimer's disease. 1 in 4 people carry a single copy of the gene, but only 2 to 3% of the population have both.
Is it like guaranteed if you have both of those, you're going to get Alzheimer's?
I mean, I'm sure that it's pretty darn likely. Yeah.
I don't want to watch this. I'm going to watch the Bradley Cooper Limitless now. You know?
No, that's not the
where you get to the. Oh man, have you okay? I don't want to spoil it because it is a good movie. At least I thought it was good in 2011. But you need to watch it.
I found my link. I found my link to. I'm gonna put it in Discord to the thing.
Oh, this is your cold plunge.
Yes.
Right, let me see.
That's a video I made. That water is dirty. Matt pulled it out and redid it. But
oh wait, okay, here it is. All right, let me see. I'm gonna put it up on the screen.
It's in our garage. There it is.
Oh, so the lid. Okay, I would be too freaked out to have the lid on there, but I guess you have to have the lid right to keep it cool.
Yeah, but like you don't submerge yourself in like you're.
You don't submerge
like,
your whole body in it.
I'll send you a picture.
Like you don't put your whole body in it.
I'm not gonna put. I'll send a picture of me in it, but I don't want you sharing this picture. Will you
okay,
not share the picture
I won't.
you?
Just describe it. So you're saying like your whole body's not covered in the water.
No, you don't put your head under.
I would be afraid like someone would come slam the lid on me. I would just be stuck in this.
Like your head's
freezer.
above the lid. Like my shoulders go to the top. Does that make sense? So when Matt sits in it, the water comes all the way up to right at the line. So we fill the water up based off of his body weight. Like based off of him in it. So that's how we fill the water up. Is he gets in it and we put a hose in there and we fill the water up.
Okay.
No, did you see the picture I sent you?
No, not yet.
Okay. I hope I texted it to the right person.
Someone's like, why is Allison sending me this picture of her in her cooler? Okay. Yeah. So from here I can see, yeah, you're not completely, your head is very much outside of that. Like even your shoulders are. It would be hard to close you inside of that. Okay.
Yes.
I'm on board now.
Like they're not going to catch you off guard or anything.
Huh. Okay. All right. This was interesting. But yeah. I didn't click the link. I honored your request and I did not know this is where we're going to go, but this is interesting. I would try many of the things that you mentioned, not all of them, but I would try many of them.
Yeah. So I'm glad I could link to my threads. You saying you can link to threads.
Okay, so Beth Ann said we were was it Beth Ann? No, Angie said we're both right. So it looks like you can look at stuff if someone sends you a link, but you cannot go and post on threads from a web browser.
As soon as I say I'm right, you have to go find a way to say we're both right.
We're both right. The truth is the truth, Allison.
You said you can't get to threads from Chrome, from your desktop. That's what you were saying.
I agree to disagree with you, Allison, that we're both right.
I don't agree to disagree. I just disagree.
You know what I agree? You know what I agree with? That our patrons are great and we appreciate the support.
I agree with that too.
See, there we go. I never get you.
Okay, Beth Ann asked a question. this might be awkward. Hey, that's what we're here for. Do you go in the cold plunge pool naked or in a bathing suit? We've always done it in a bathing suit. So I have a bathing suit that I literally just keep it like kind of hung over my like bathtub section of our bedroom, of our bathroom. And I wring it out and it's dry by the next day. And I just get in my bathing suit, and then Matt will do it in his underwear or his bathing suit. But usually, like, he always does it after he works out. He does it every day. And on the days that he works out, he does it right after he works out.
Oof. Also, ADHD Fire Life said, OMG, my mom has that freezer.
You should tell her that she should hack it for that.
It is a great deep what's it called, an ice plunge freezer. You're using it all wrong, Mom. Tell her. Cold plunge.
No, and what's crazy is, like, actually, I'm going to tell you one other point, and then I know we need to go. What's funny is when we were trying to figure out what size we needed, I was like, what are you going to do? Just go to Home Depot and like open it up and sit in it? Like, what are you going to do? And Matt was like, I don't think I can do that. I was like, I don't think you can either. Like, what,
yeah, you're going to look a little suspicious. Like, can a human body fit in this freezer? I just want to check real quick. I just want to step
what
inside.
If I fold the limbs up? Yeah. So what we did was we looked up the sizes online, and we made him like sit on the ground, and I like laid out like lines of like tape, basically. Like, okay, can you fit in this box? Okay, now let's make it as tall as this. And so the original size we were going to get would be too small. So he fits in this. He would like to go down, I think, a little bit further, but we're not going to get a different one. But
I would love to think that your kids went to school and they were like, yeah, our parents were measuring each other to see if they could fit in the freezer.
Well, what's really interesting is that our kids love like coming into the garage while we're doing this. Like, they like going in there and like cheering us on. And my son Evan has done it several times. He'll do it for like a minute or something, which kids shouldn't do it for more than 3 minutes. So he's never done it. We've made him get out at 3 minutes. He's like, I can go longer. We're like, no, you get out. And one of the things that, when you struggle with like overthinking or anxiety, right, we tend to believe the thoughts that come into our mind. And so Matt said, it was one day I was not in the garage with them while they were doing it. It was just Matt and Evan. And Matt said it was so cool because Matt was in there, and it was one of the first times, like when he first started doing it. So it was, harder. And Evan was like, no, Dad, it's all in your head. Like, it's okay. It's just like, you can do it. It's just all in your head. And Matt said, he was like, how cool that like this experience is helping him realize, like, just because your head says, like, just because your thoughts say you can't do something doesn't mean that you can't. Like, your thoughts lie to you. And then he got in, and Matt was like kind of coaching him the same way. And so that was really neat to be like, okay, look, like it's like a mind over matter type situation in a safe, you have to keep it safe. But yeah. I thought it was really great to just like be a life lesson for kids, being like, okay, look, like this is mind over matter. You can push through that. And he was like coaching Matt even in that, which was cool.
No, I like that. I can say this, I probably will not go out and buy a freezer and try this, but if I had the opportunity to try one of those, that's a loud motorcycle. If I had the opportunity to try a cold plunge, I think I would do it.
Okay, I'm going to find a place where we can go in Denver. I'm going to look up the speakeasy, and I'm going to look up a cold plunge place, and we're going to go.
Don't you like when you just tell people stuff and like with thinking that there's no way they're ever going to try to make me follow through on this? You could just kind of say it like, oh, that would be great, and then you just never talk about it again. You know what? Let's get out of here before you try to make me commit to anything else. But no, this was good. I did not know where you were going to go with this topic, and I enjoyed it. This was a good one.
I agree. And we'll be back next time talking about how we're going to go to Denver Sports Recovery and do a cold plunge when we're in Denver together, going to that podcast conference. After we do our cold plunge, we'll go to a speakeasy.
I may not be available. Oh, you know what? I think I can't go that week. Let me check my schedule. But we'll be back on August 4th with the next recording. We're going to do another round of 3 episodes. We'll keep it tighter then. We were kind of learning how this works this week, and we'll figure out a flow for it, but I like it. I like the changes. Hopefully you all like the changes too that we're making to the show.
Yes, give us some feedback, please.
All right. You know what we never do? Where can people find you, Allison? I don't think we ever talk about that. Like if we want to, I guess, connect with you, we should probably say that at some point.
Oh my gosh. So, I can be found at the top of Cinderella's castle for one night. You can check me out on Instagram at Inspired Budget, Threads at Inspired Budget, Facebook at Inspired Budget, TikTok at Inspired Budget, inspiredbudget.com, Inspired Budget Podcast, or This Is Awkward right here where you found me.
Oh, look at that. You can find me, Popcorn Finance Podcast, because Popcorn Finance is taken because I took that handle and forgot to log into my email address 6 years ago. So I'm Popcorn Finance Podcast everywhere, including Threads, which I'm actually really enjoying lately. It's been nice. Not having to post a picture. I can just type something and just leave it at that.
Isn't it nice?
Oh, so freeing. But yeah.
Oh, gosh. Okay, guys. Thanks for joining us.
All right. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.